What if thriving wasn't about getting life perfect?
but learning to find peace and purpose right in the mess.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Tom, and we walked away from the version of life that looked right to build one that feels alive.
We'll talk about the beauty and the struggle, from parenting and marriage to faith, well-being and travel.
This is The Whole of Us.
So today we're talking about friends.
Woo! We love our friends.
Well, it's a really interesting topic and one I actually haven't wanted to talk about because when I think about trying to make friends, I get that pit in your stomach and feel a little, I think it's exposing, but I think friendship can also be quite painful.
Yeah.
And we've
certainly,
had friend breakups before.
and it's challenging. It's like it tears away a little part of yourself.
I think it's hard because there's not a ton of clarity. So you often wonder like,
Was it me? Was it
we
them?
naturally want to figure out who was right and who was wrong. And there's just too much nuance to it. We wanted to talk about this as well because the last few years we've obviously been traveling and we haven't really had an on-the-ground community.
We've been just the four of us and then whoever we happen to meet along the way.
So very short relationships on the
Yeah.
ground in places. We've also been a part of world schooling groups or
Yep.
met people in places and then actually had the privilege of catching up with them again.
Yes,
So-
meeting them in another country.
Our
And-
friends from Siwa that we spent time with in Egypt, we ended up spending another
3 weeks.
3 weeks with them in the UK. And there's been a few of that type of thing. Oh, our friends from the US that we met in Scotland and then they came to Australia. So we've
Yep, and then friends from Australia who we met in the UK for 6 weeks, and
yeah.
beautiful. But it's short term,
Yes.
short moments. And then the other way we've done relationship over the last few years is on Zoom,
Yeah.
and via video calls.
Praise
which,
God for that though.
It's miraculous.
But again, you're not really doing life together. Although
Yeah.
you text back and forth, it tends to be more of those emergency, we need to chat, I need some help, or, catching up on all the good
Yeah.
stuff. I guess what has been wonderful to see is those relationships really flourish because we've gone really deep with them.
Yes.
There wasn't a lot
Yeah.
of fluffing around. It was
No.
just almost trauma bonding. Um,
Is that good or bad? That's a curious
well,
one.
what were the stats you were listing off the other day
Oh,
about building friendships?
I mean, this is crazy. And I think we wanted to have this conversation as well because, and I'll go into these stats, but building adult friendships feels challenging.
Yes.
And so I think we often are quick to blame other people or blame ourselves that it's just too hard to make friends and we're too busy and whatever it is. But the numbers on it are pretty wild. You need at least 50 hours with someone to actually be able to call them a friend.
So move from acquaintance to a friendship.
Yeah. And then to become close friends, it takes over 200 hours,
Wow.
which is, it seems like a wild amount of time.
Mm.
But we've got to create some clarity around that too, because it's not just the time, because we can spend plenty of time with someone, like a lot of work colleagues, and not actually be good friends with them. We're just doing something with them.
Mm.
And so I guess this is where our hearts are more around, how do we show up to a friendship and be ourselves? How do we show up and actually listen with curiosity?
Go deeper and
Yeah.
have those lifelong friendships. And in the research we've been looking at as well, it was talking about how having intimate relationships or friendships is vital for your health.
If you don't have friends, so you're
Yeah, so if you don't have good friends, your mortality rate is 50% higher.
which is nuts. It's literally killing us if we're lonely.
100%. Yeah, there are big stats now. They're saying it's just as bad as diabetes and heart problems, cardiac issues.
Yeah.
And some of the big killers out there, loneliness is part of that.
Yeah.
And it's more than just having an acquaintance. These are like friends that you're doing life with. It's community. So you don't need a lot of friends, but you do need a few. And I think what we were reading is most people have about 3 to 5 really good friends.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you're listening to this, whether you do have 3 to 5 good friends, because that feels like I know many people who have lots of acquaintances and lots of people that
Yep.
they would call friends and they are friends, but are they the people that you can really call out
Yeah.
and call up and
Yeah.
more than just doing life together, while that's very important, but go really deep with?
I think it's that phrase I heard, ride or die.
Mm.
It's they're people that are going to stand with you through thick and thin. And look, that's a a big expectation to place on relationship as well.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I think that's possibly one of the big reasons why it feels challenging to deepen friendships, because we come with such great expectations or no expectation.
Yeah. Both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, which it's hard. Like I know it's often easy, and we had this conversation with the girls as well as we were traveling.
Mm.
They came to us very early on, and they're like, "Why would I go and play with that kid?"
Well, Alessia said, why do I bother making friends if I have to say goodbye in a
Yeah,
day?
yeah,
And I was like, oh no. And the way we phrased it to her was that the ripple effect of a friendship, that every single interaction with someone is a holy moment, essentially.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you are creating story, you're creating intimacy, you're creating memories,
yeah.
you're giving and receiving that. Even if a friendship is just for a small, tiny season, it can still be absolutely worth it.
Yes, yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
And actually, after that, she saw the value in having a friend, even for she brought this comment to me when we were at the airport, and she just made a friend, and the friend she just made was literally flying to a different country and we were flying somewhere else. And so I could totally relate with what she was saying. It's shifting how we see value in friendship from
Yes,
just receiving to also giving.
absolutely. And yeah, that's a hard thing to do, though. It's
Mm,
hard to actually slow down enough and go, not what am I going to get from this relationship, but what can I give to it? What can I bring to it? What can I learn from it?
mm,
I think one of the other things I've loved talking with the girls about is this idea of there is something in everybody that we can learn from.
yes.
Like everybody carries something slightly different. I mean, it's even that idea that we all reflect a different aspect of God's character
Yeah.
and the love that is in it. And
And
so,
therefore, everyone's worthy getting to know.
okay, that touches on another point then of like, do we even consider people worth knowing?
Mm.
And
Or our preconceived notions, maybe, because obviously
yeah,
when you're meeting someone the first time, if they look a certain way or you start picking up lifestyle habits and you're suddenly thinking, oh, they don't like doing this or they like this. And you start putting them in boxes
yeah,
of what you think that they are.
yes, yeah. Oh, man, and it slows down and, well, it prevents depth in relationships so quickly, because as soon as you've judged someone, you're not going to open up in the same way. You're not going to
Totally.
be vulnerable in the same way.
There is wisdom. And so we've talked about this as well. I think to have a really deep, intimate relationship, you need to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Vulnerability is a key factor to
Yeah.
intimacy
But that takes as well the other person actually being curious.
and safe to be
Yeah.
vulnerable with.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of this like fun back and forth game because so I notice in conversation with someone new that I might drop a few things just
A
sneakily
few
to see what their
keywords
reaction might be. It's like if you're a Christian, you go out and someone says, you have a blessed day. And you're like, oh my gosh, do you believe in Jesus too? Or like, you might talk about sport or you might talk about travel, for instance, or you'll
Yeah.
say, oh yeah, I grew up in the UK. And if that person's from overseas and suddenly you've got this,
It's a connection
oh,
point.
where in the UK? And you start,
Yeah.
you just,
Or
they're little hooks to see
totally.
what people bite on maybe.
Absolutely. And I like it's doing the same the other way and listening in conversation enough to hear those little bits of information that were
Mm.
dropped and to be able to circle back around and come back. So
It's a really fascinating conversation and maybe feels a little basic to you as a listener, but it's creating a framework for what actually is a friendship and how do
yeah.
we show up and build on a friendship, because for our well-being it's absolutely essential. We are connected relational beings. This is something we cannot ignore. It would be easier to stay at home and not make the effort. And I was thinking about this because we've obviously just come back from traveling.
Yeah.
And when we came back last year, so we've been back a year now, but we did come back for
Wow.
about 6 months and then we left again.
Yeah.
I could tell I just did not want to root into community. I didn't want to bother.
Mm,
It feels maybe a lack of freedom in
yeah.
creating a grounding that is harder to leave.
Yeah.
And yet the biggest thing that stood out from our travels was how lonely it is and how essential it is to live life with friends and people and community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you see that across the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
and all ages.
Yeah.
So we've come back and really the last month started putting our hand up for more things. And there is a balance, I guess, of overextending yourself. But I'm now doing netball coaching and we're going to have a small group and we're starting to regularly attend church. I can already feel a bit of the panic because it's vulnerable and it's exposing. And I often have the fear of how to show up authentically as me while not being too much or not enough for somebody. I think friendship feels really hard because I've not done it well in the past. Not always. That was a very big statement. But I think my view of friendship was either I'm going to go in and very quickly tell you all my trauma and all my pain so that you don't judge me later on.
Yep.
Or it's go in vulnerably hoping that you might fix me.
Yeah.
So looking for validation, looking for your stamp of approval of me. So I'm going to show up how I think that you want me to be.
Yeah.
Not always. And this has radically changed now. But historically, I probably went through the lens of what can you give me?
There's a lot riding on the relationship then. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, effectively, when we understand that everybody is so human, you're setting people up to fail.
Yeah.
And
putting them on this crazy pedestal.
And the crazy thing is that just acts as a confirmation bias for already the belief that I'm not worthy of friendship.
Yes. Or just not worthy as a person.
Yeah. Man. And look, it's funny because having done community in so many different places and different ways in my past, I look at a lot of the way that I showed up in relationships, and I had a strong belief that if I had needs, I like that was going to be too much, and there wouldn't be space for me to actually express what I wanted.
Yes.
So I'd kind of just go, well, I'll do everything for you and ask you all the questions and create all the space, and look, it created lots of beautiful community, but
did they actually know you?
No.
So that's like two sides of the spectrum. Because even as you're saying that, I'm thinking how beautiful, how hard it is for people to ask for help.
Yes.
And how hard it is to, because I guess it's humbling and it's vulnerable again. But how when you don't put your hand up for that, you're essentially pushing people away.
Totally.
You're not creating space to be needed and for them to need you. It's the interaction of back and forth.
Absolutely.
And by being this strong, independent person that I don't need you, you're doing a disservice to yourself and somebody else.
Absolutely. It's just selfishness dressed up differently.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, which it still feels confronting to say that, but the focus was still on me. And like we've been saying, friendships that are based off what I get, it doesn't go far. And look, it's not to say that relationships don't last, despite that. But as soon as we can become aware of what we're actually bringing into a relationship and what expectations we're actually coming with.
Talking about making friends can feel really hard. I can feel it in my body even right now because we've had friendship breakups, and I guess I did spend time trying to figure out whose fault it was.
Who was right and who was wrong.
And it was really difficult because it was unclear. And the reality is a relationship is a co-creation. There would have been a part I played and a part that they played. Yep. And there were things that either side would not have known. So we're holding sort of two truths at the same time, where I can be hurt because they're not meeting my expectation, or I'm hurt because they don't feel like I'm meeting their expectation. And I can have limited capacity. I can have things going on behind the scenes and hold that sort of boundary, I guess, of what we needed in that season. But it's probably some of the most painful experiences, having a friendship that just dissolves. So we're trying to also normalize friendships for a season. We're trying to normalize that people have different expectations and we're going to get it wrong. I think part of this conversation, we just wanted to normalize that we're all probably feeling very similar. That relationships can feel, well, look, on one hand, it's like not a big deal. You're going to go out and you're going to have some small talk and you're going to maybe share a meal and like get to know someone and then leave. And maybe the overthinker in me feels a lot more because I'll often walk away and be like, did I say too much? Or did I not say enough? Or what do they think of me? Because the reality is they're probably thinking more about how they showed up than about how I showed up.
Yes.
Right? That saying of them being more about them than it is me, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, I want to have good relationships, and probably history, we've had a couple of friendship breakups over our life, and I think many people probably have. And I think what I tried to do was find out who was most at fault. So try to figure out that good and bad bucket of like, well, they did this, so are they good or are they bad, or what did I do? And the reality is in relationship, we co-create. So it's this back and forth between the two of us. Very rarely is it one person's fault. There's not necessarily a victim or a villain. It's a co-creation. I think one of the biggest problems or one of the biggest reasons friendships dissolve is assumptions.
Yes.
And not asking for clarity.
Yes. We
don't like conflict, so we don't want to have the difficult, messy conversation. But what is proven is the strongest relationships are ones that have a rupture. So there's some sort of disagreement or problem, and then they have the repair.
Yeah.
So a good relationship is not about never arguing or never having a fight or that friction. It's actually about how we come back together.
Yes.
And I would say the disappointment of the relationships, and my fault and theirs, like it's a co-creation, like we just said, is that there was rupture and we didn't know how to repair it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like take 100% ownership that we weren't doing it well with each other at that point either.
Totally.
And I think that's something that has radically changed our friendship more than anything and built trust in our relationship is our ability to come back after we've had a disagreement and go, yeah, I messed that up.
I missed it.
I'm sorry. Can you help me understand?
I wonder about some of the relationships that we've sort of seen dissolve. Some of them I do believe are just for a season and breaks my heart. I'm sure it's hard for them as well. And this is sort of a vulnerable conversation anyway to have because it feels like somehow I failed. And I look at it and there was probably stuff going on in our life, there definitely was at the time, that we weren't articulating.
Yes.
And didn't know how to articulate and really probably hurt people.
Yeah.
And we'll put our hands up and say that as well. And that's sad. And there is a lot of grief and processing. And then time has gone on or life has changed and we just haven't had the capacity to maintain deep friendships with as many people as we once had, I guess.
Well, and I mean, there is a limitation to the number of people you can maintain deep relationships with.
Yeah.
That's not unusual.
So I guess in those moments, as we've reflected on it a little bit lately, I've had to really just, I guess, sit with my heart and think, you probably didn't show up as best as you could have. Take some ownership of, I could have maybe done that better.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I'm a bad person or a bad friend.
And I think that's the thoughts rolling around in my head of this phrase we heard a little while ago now, and we use it with our kids all the time. Just because they're sad doesn't make you bad.
Yeah.
And it redefines the immediate response we have to so many like little micro ruptures even.
Right.
Of like somebody, like even just a look of disgust or of sadness on their face, and we immediately internalize it as I've done something wrong.
Yes. Well, the reality is it doesn't ignore the ownership piece in this too.
No.
So it's not allowing shame to swoop in and condemn us.
Shame is that attack on your identity.
Yes.
Rather than I did something wrong. It's I am bad. I am wrong.
It's an identity statement.
It's an identity statement compared to, I got that wrong. And we can feel guilt about that or conviction about that.
Conviction, maybe not guilt. Yeah.
But it's not that same condemning shame aspect. And that freedom that comes from going, I'm not bad. It's just that what I did missed the mark. And
I don't even know if it needs to be that sort of identifying that I'm not bad, because inherently we are not perfect.
Sure.
So I think it's more of I think I rephrase it in my brain to not be I am not bad. It's more I am still lovable. I am still worthy.
Yes.
I am still a good friend. Yeah, sometimes I've probably not been a great friend, but I still matter, and like I'm still worthy and lovable. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I'm thinking through some of the friendship breakups we've had and how the hardest part of it is to know that my action or inaction has deeply hurt somebody.
Yeah.
That's where the shame comes in, because there is a reality of ownership of, for all the right reasons of why I couldn't show up for you how you wanted me to, whether sickness or life or private things that were happening behind the scenes that we weren't able to share about, I still hurt you. And that feels crushing to me as somebody who wants everybody to love me. Or, you don't want to hurt somebody.
Totally.
That's where I've sat with they're actually allowed to feel really sad about this.
Yeah.
Even if I had come and apologized or tried to repair it, which I don't even think was possible at these points, they would still have had a pain that I can't fix.
Yes.
So it's also accepting the fact that people are allowed to feel what they want to feel, and it doesn't shift who I am as a person.
Yeah. Man, I even think about this in early stages of a relationship before like that friendship breakdown. It's like those little micro ruptures quickly steer us away from people if we're not willing to actually go, maybe they just missed it.
Yes.
And so
giving
I guess
people the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth because it's
sorry.
But it's so true. Like, how often are we assuming that they've got it in for us, or they deliberately did something when actually they were doing everything right?
Or there is some disaster happening in their own life that you know nothing about. They haven't slept for 3 days. And so when they're not texting you back, it doesn't mean anything personal.
No.
Or do they not even know that you want to spend time with them? I saw this clip on socials the other day, and it was really, really helpful, of the person who texts, I can't come all the time, which was me so much when we had young children. Bible study was on, I can't come. This thing's on, I can't come. I just didn't want to go. I wasn't in a good headspace, and physically I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
She said, at the end of your, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to make it, say, please continue to invite me at the end.
Yes.
Because to the person that you keep saying, I can't make it, they might be thinking, they just don't want to hang out with us. I don't want to bother them with a text message any longer. So it was a very clear call to relationship. I still want to hang out. Please stop. Please don't stop asking me. And I think that's the ownership piece we sometimes have in not even in a big relationship breakdown, but in the tiny little foxes that get in the little assumptions we make about what somebody thinks towards us.
Yes.
We can't possibly know what somebody thinks towards us unless we ask them. We can't assume someone's intentions. So then if we come sort of full circle of, I think we started a long time, did we? I don't know.
Yeah. Come back around.
Yes. I'm coming around, guys. So then if the ownership is on me in a relationship, I'm going to have to get good at conflict resolution, or I'm going to have to get good at speaking up. I'm going to have to get good at uncomfortable conversations that actually might eventuate to a deeper relationship.
Yeah.
It's the, hey, you guys had a party and you didn't invite me, and I'm feeling really sad about that. I'm just curious if there was a reason you didn't invite me, or like, what have you got to lose? We spend all this time at this 10 out of 10 pain, not wanting to deal with, like, instead of, if we just touched it for a second, is this a rejection? Are you actually not wanting me to come? Blah, blah, blah. And then be like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I thought this happened to me recently. I'm throwing a little get together with some girlfriends, and I was talking about it with the group, and one of the girls, they didn't say anything. And I thought, geez, maybe she doesn't want to come. And in my brain, I'm creating a story, right? Because our brains want to find safety and connect the dots.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's connecting the dots that this person mustn't like me or mustn't know how to say, I don't want to come. Well, it turns out she never got the invite. So she's standing there. Do you know who this is?
No.
Oh, it's the day after. She's standing there thinking, I'm not invited to this. And so
I love her.
I'm laughing because I think then she thought that she was on the list. I can't believe I didn't invite her. But anyway, she's coming. It's all fine now. But this is the perfect example of an
Man,
assumption. She thinks I
yes.
don't want her to come. I think she feels bad because she doesn't want to come. And
Yes.
actually, I just literally did a text message and left her off.
Oh,
And
man.
if I had just checked in with her and said, hey, did you get my text?
Yes.
Could have avoided
Yes.
this. Instead, I was thinking, because we kept seeing her at the beach, and I was thinking, oh, I don't want to pressure her, and there's a lot going on, and, you know, maybe.
Oh.
Anyway, all sorted. But I just,
Man, clarity brings so much freedom, doesn't it?
relief. Holy
It's
moly.
just like this deep.
We could have had a total relationship breakdown over this lack of a text
Absolutely.
message.
Absolutely. And we know friends that have had that.
Totally.
And yeah, and friends who've even tried to seek clarity from the other side, but there's already so much offense that's been taken that it's too far gone.
Oh, it's messy. It's messy because we create, I think it's the assumptions, honestly, that do
Yeah.
create it. But so when we turn it around, because we're powerful human beings, so
Yes.
I can look at this and probably I was feeling these things towards this girl, like, oh, maybe she just doesn't want to come hang out with me, because I was already feeling nervous about inviting people over. And so in my brain, the message I was saying to myself was people aren't really going to want to come.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to say they're busy. And so in my head, that's where that story was going.
Yeah.
So when someone hasn't replied, I'm thinking, that's coming true.
Yes. Rather than
Take
just being able to release they come, they don't come. That's okay.
Or if it's bothering me, ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Simple. Simple, but feels so challenging in a moment.
And the other thing I was thinking about was this village we all long for.
I mean, it's easy to look at so many of like the communes on social media and be like, oh, it looks so amazing, all these people living together, and maybe
It's not even a commune, just friendship groups. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they cannot be as good as what it looks like on social media
100%.
because they're people
Exactly.
and humans doing life together, and it would be
Exactly.
messy. But I wanted to bring it up because we've done a lot of, I don't know, just curious looking at different cultures around the world and how they do
Yeah.
life together. And
Yep.
community over and over and over again, we've already talked about it, is good for your health. It's good for your well-being. It's good for every part
Yeah.
of you, basically. And so how do we do that? And I think we in the West have gotten pretty picky with our community.
Well, I mean, our culture is premised on the individual. So it's my story, my truth, my version of life, and you need to fit in with that.
Mm.
Which, look, that's an extreme end point to a lot of the kind of enlightenment thinking, to throw that in there. But it is like effectively we're becoming our own gods. And so when I'm the god of my world,
Yeah.
I get to decide. I get to decide what truth I want to accept and not, rather than going, oh, I have a belief about this. What do you think?
So you're sort of saying if people don't fit in with your version of the world, your viewpoints, your thoughts, how you want to live your life, then they're sort of not worth.
They're not worth you spending time with.
Yeah.
And you put in very clear boundaries with that. And I think we mentioned already, but social media is chronic for this. Of you get a echo chamber effectively of your viewpoints and of your opinions.
Yeah, your algorithm shifts towards what you think and believe. And
absolutely. And look, there is a certain fact of human nature that we always seek out tribes. Like we want people who are similar to us because there's safety in that. And there is beauty in that as well. Like finding shared hobbies, shared like interests, like
super important.
Like church for us is a massive one. Like finding people who have that shared context for life is really, really important. But that can't go to the extreme of I don't talk to anybody outside of this. Or if anybody changes their viewpoint on this issue, I'm done with them.
I'm just thinking how to not make it all so extreme as what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it is like we are naturally going to go towards people that do have some common interests.
Yes.
And that's healthy.
Totally. And
it's just, I suppose, creating a little bit more space to be challenged.
Yeah.
To be a little uncomfortable in our thinking and thought.
Which probably comes back to where are we actually getting our identity from? Do we get our identity from the things we do or the interests we hold or the groups we're a part of? Or do we get our identity from who we are?
I guess we saw this in some of the cultures overseas as well, especially with faith.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always just Christian. There were other religions.
No.
It was something bigger than themselves
Yeah.
that they all gathered underneath.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of the problem in the West, that we're losing because we're becoming more independent and self-serving and it's all about me and we become the God.
Yeah.
It's fracturing community
Yeah.
because when you gather, there's not this one thing that's that you're mulling on and you're.
Well, it's a transcendent reality. Transcendent being something that's outside and above us. Like it's a thing that is bigger than us. And when we start to believe that we're the gods of our own lives, there is nothing bigger than my view, my point. And so everything else has to come under that, rather than going, if we believe in an unconditionally loving creator, everything comes under that premise. And so I can meet you as a reflection of that and meet you with love, despite you holding vastly different views or opinions or beliefs to me, and still see you as worthy of time and worthy of love.
Well, it comes back to that curiosity.
Yeah.
Like seeking to see someone's perspective, understanding who they as a person. The reality is, if you are human, there is something that will connect you to the other person. We will have emotions, we will have story, we've experienced joy, grief, sadness.
Yep.
You look deep enough and there is this common humanity that is there no matter what we do.
Yeah.
So you essentially, I mean, it may be difficult if you're talking to someone who's just walling off and doesn't want anything really to do with you. It is a two-person thing, right?
Absolutely.
But the hope in it is that for every person you meet, there is something that's not too different from you that you can connect on. We were in a tribal community in Egypt. And we made a really good friend there. He was so opposite to me. He was different skin color, different religion. He was obviously a male, I'm a female. The class structure was different, just me being a Western white woman. And yet I have never felt so much mutual respect and love for each other.
Yeah.
The conversations we had and the curiosity we had was so devoid. Is that the right word? Devoid. It was so devoid of judgment. And it really shook me a bit because I felt like the difference between us was so massive. There was surely nothing we could talk about.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that at all. I saw so much tenderness in him, despite stereotypes, which I would have experienced growing up in the West. I had so much love for this guy, actually, and I felt all my performance and all my trying to convince him of me or my own judgments start to slip off. And it was a beautiful experience in seeing the worth of someone based on nothing else other than the fact that they were human.
Yeah.
And the worth and worthiness of getting to know someone. I could have spent hours and hours talking to them.
And the beauty of that conversation was you were both deconstructing your faiths, deconstructing that transcendental thing that was outside of you, that was bigger than you, and unpacking the way that we viewed that and the religious structures that we had around that, and working back and back and back and back and back to, like, what is the actual core thing that we're chasing, that we're looking for in faith?
Yeah, I feel emotional just thinking about it because I felt like I touched love in a different capacity, and I saw us as humans and how precious we are in that moment.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful because we were deconstructing completely different religions, and it was so taboo, and I had better conversations with him about deconstructing my faith with an Islamic man than I had with Christians.
Yeah.
It was so pure and so raw, and we weren't trying to fix each other. The beauty in it, we were coming alongside each other and identifying key and core emotions and feelings we were having about it. The ostracization, the judgments of people in and outside our circles, what that meant about what we believed about everything. And we are talking about different religions. I think it just changed how I saw the box I put people in. Like they have to fit this mold for me to spend time with them or grow a relationship with them.
Yeah.
We saw that many, many, many times.
Absolutely.
Around the world when we met different people from different countries and backgrounds. the assumption thing really stood out to me, because even in, of course, in different languages where the tones are different and the meanings are different and things are assumed and how you really have to get clarity. Even between like the UK and Australia, there are different ways we do things.
Absolutely.
And so I think what we're trying to say is giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Maybe slowing down and being curious.
Yeah. Dropping your guard just a little bit and recognizing that, we're all going to mess it up.
This conversation with this man in Egypt as well didn't just happen.
No.
We had you were there. We had tea and we slowed down and we just started asking more curious questions.
Yeah.
It involved both of us being a little tender.
Yeah.
I want to be I want to be a friend that creates room for misunderstanding.
Yeah.
That seeks clarity.
Yep.
I want to talk kindly about my friends.
Yeah.
When I'm not in the room with them, even if it's just to you.
Yep.
I want to imagine the best. So when I don't get a text message, or when I do get a text message and it sounds a little passive aggressive, instead of racing to judge what this might mean and connect dots that it just is not true.
Yeah.
Being brave and sending a text message back.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we need to have a longer conversation about this. Can we do a second episode?
Second episode loading now. No, just kidding. Yes, second episode.
Because I want to talk through, like, what does it look like to actually start a friendship? What is it like? What practically can we do around?
I felt like this episode was just everywhere.
Nah.
Okay. We should leave this in so the people know. There's a lot of me going, I think you should delete this part. But I guess
that's the joy of it.
I want to imagine you're in the room and
that's I think it. Like, and that's what I was going to say. Like, these are conversations that we have with friends. We mess it up and we go off track and we wander, and then we come back around to something and go, yeah. Maybe
we should call this Around the Table with Tom and Kelsey.
Maybe.
Because it's just this pinging back and forth.
Send us your suggestions. We're looking for new names for the podcast.
Thanks for being here, guys.
We really, really appreciate you guys listening. Look, if this conversation has prompted anything or, made you think, send us a message. We'd love you to just like or subscribe to the episodes, share them with a friend.
And we'll
share them with somebody who you want to make a friendship with.
Yes. Okay. The people know what they need to do. Okay.
All right.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.